Welcome to Open House with Gerry Cornejo, where we feature people, places, and things that are in the news or who should be in the news. And this is one of my favorite times of the year because just about January of this year, mid to late January, we have with us the officers, the ladies and gentlemen, the special agents who comprise PET, the Philippine Exchange Training Program with the Philippine National Police. And of course, we have PET 2016. We've been doing this since 2009. And the group leader who is with us now is none other than Lieutenant Eric Quema of the San Francisco Police Department. So Eric, welcome again. Welcome.
Thank you, Jerry. It's a pleasure being here.
Okay, maraming salamat. And of course, we have with us also Officer Jamie Garan and Officer Matt Leong. All right. Now, I just have to look at my notes for a little bit, although they will introduce themselves to you. Officer Matt Leong, second year in the PET program, and Officer Jamie Garan, first time.
Yes, sir.
First time in the PET program, and she's Pinay, by the way. She talks fluent Tagalog. I just heard her earlier. Can you tell us a little bit about the composition and the mandate of PET 2016, Lieutenant Quema?
Sure thing, Jerry. PET stands for the Philippine Exchange Training Program, and basically it started in the year 2000 when 5 officers from the SFPD decided to form a plan to come to the Philippines and exchange training and current trends and best practices with our counterparts in the National Police, in hopes that we improve our service to our respective communities. So in 2000, it started with the SFPD, with an MOU. 2000 to 2010, it was only SFPD, and in 2010, we opened it up to outside agencies. So you will see in this team a collective assortment of different law enforcement agencies. This year, it's SFPD, BART Police, California Department of Justice, and Turlock Police Department. Our main goal is to exchange information, current trends, best practices, not only in police work, but it's evolved into bringing donations to elementary schools, high schools. And when I say donations, I mean computers, books, office supplies, even toothbrushes, along with the candy for dental hygiene.
Okay.
So we also visit preschools when we have extra equipment, and it also benefits the teachers. To complete that circle of true community policing, we also give presentations to the business community. So it completes that circle, and we're doing as best we can to improve the quality of life and the service that we provide as law enforcers.
And again, the members of your delegation are made up of those who volunteered or those you invited, or both?
Yes, it's completely volunteer. They
Okay.
have to shoulder expense for their airfare, their hotel, and their time off. They have to use their personal time off to enable them to come here for 2 weeks.
Mhm.
And I also require each team member to solicit, collect, and even purchase items to donate to schools, the National Police, and also to business groups, and also to the seniors. So all that costs quite a bit of money. So it's a labor of love. And not everybody gets selected to come here. They have to have a skill. They have to have compassion. They have to have honor and discipline, because we function in 2 weeks is very short time to do all the things that we want to do here. In fact, this 44 widows, we were able to conduct a fundraiser by selling challenge coins and raise enough money to give each family some cash assistance and also token remembrance of their loved ones that were lost.
Okay, would you like to introduce the first 2 members of the group, the newcomer, and Officer Jamie, and of course, second-timer Officer Matt Leong?
Be my pleasure, Jerry.
Yeah.
Seated to my left is Officer Jamie Garan. Only 2 years in the department. People ask, why did you bring someone brand new? Number 1, because I try to pick people that are sharp and represent well. Number 2, I want our counterparts to see a female officer doing everything a man can do in the field. Number 3, they're just out of the academy, so they're fresh. They got current trends, best practices under their belt. Officer Matt Leong, second year here. His first year, he was so involved in the program and immersed himself in it so much. He's been a big contributor, go-getter. Even his parents came to my door knocking with 2 big boxes of school supplies. So some of these people, and most of these people I pick, are excellent candidates, and they're not all Filipino. Di lang Pinoy, kahit na inchik o itim. The people I've chosen, I've been lucky that I am blessed, and so is the Philippines, that these people are willing to give of their time, money, effort, and are compassionate about what they do.
Okay, Officer Jamie, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and so far your experience in PET 2016?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me here. I am about 2.5 years with the San Francisco Police Department. I have 2 children. Thank you. I am here to share my knowledge, what I've learned in the police department thus far. It's an honor to be here, let me tell you. It's been very overwhelming because I've heard about the program and I've been a part of the program outside of it, not being a member, but a contributor and a donator to the program, because I know that it's such a great experience to be a part of it. And to actually experience it here for myself, there's no words that I can say to explain my gratitude to Sir Eric. So thank you for allowing me to be here and share this experience.
What is your field of specialty?
Right now I am the current limited English proficiency liaison within the chief's office or with the department. So I handle all of the LEPs, the acronym for it, LEP and training for it with the police academy. So I'm an instructor there as well.
Okay, so limited
English proficiency.
English
Yes, sir.
proficiency. So does that mean like when you have suspects or when, is that whom you deal with and, you talk to them in Tagalog or English, or is that the way it goes? I'm not sure.
Oh, that's okay. So basically we have certain regulations and guidelines that we have to go with our department. And we provide services, interpretation and translation services for victims, suspects,
okay.
reportees, everyone. So everyone has it's a right that they have.
Right.
It is their right to request for an interpreter if they do not speak English as their first language.
So I heard you speaking fluent Tagalog earlier. So does that mean when you have to deal with Filipinos, then they have to call you? I mean, if they don't quite understand what's happening, is that it?
That is
Right.
that is an aspect of it.
Okay.
I am not a certified interpreter,
Okay.
or I am not certified bilingual a bilingual officer. So there are other Filipino Americans who are. So dispatch will then get them to the scene. But I
Okay.
can help in exigent circumstance.
Okay, so far, what has been the most, you're just halfway through your 2-week stay here. So far, what has been the most memorable? What has created the best impression on you?
Well, everything has been extremely memorable. Seeing the children yesterday was very special to me. Me being a mother of 2 children, I got to see how happy they were receiving these little precious gifts, just a simple thank you from us to them, and supplies. And I know that they need these supplies. Toothbrushes. I have a doctor friend who donated over 300 toothbrushes to the children. So seeing them and their gratitude, and the women officers at PMP, me being a woman officer, and seeing them here, it's a full circle of being in law enforcement. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. It's a common denominator of protecting and serving your community.
Okay, last but not least, what are your Filipino roots?
Well, my father is from Olongapo. He was INP back in the 70s. And my mother is half Filipina and half American, white.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so Officer Jamie, is it Garon or Garon?
Garon po.
Garon.
Opo.
Garon. Filipino. Di ba? Garon, okay.
Tama.
All right, so Officer Matt Leong, I mean, this is your second time here. What made you come back?
Well, after the first time I was invited to come, it was my first trip to the Philippines. And just being able to train and to visit different sites, to do the charity work, to go do donations, and to cross-train with the PNP, you can say I was bitten by the bug. To see the good work that was done, working with other officers in an international setting, as well as to do charity work, I did everything that I could to try to come back again. And Lieutenant Cuema was kind enough to invite me to come back again this year, and I jumped at the chance.
What is your field of specialty?
I work in patrol. I've been with the San Francisco Police Department for about 9 years now. I've worked patrol and as a field trainer. Jamie here is one of my recruits. So my current assignment is at the San Francisco International Airport, so that's the area that I patrol at right now.
Okay, so if I land, I should see you somewhere there.
Yes, you'll see me biking around the terminals.
Biking?
Yes,
Okay, so, I mean on a bicycle?
yes.
All right, all right. Not the Segway.
I haven't taken that class yet. It'll be coming.
Okay, so what have been, of course, you've been here last year, and many of the things that you've gone through, you've gone through last year. What are
Yes.
the new things that that you've experienced this year for PET 2016?
Okay, so for the new things, with each new class that we work with, I learn something new from the officers that we cross-train with, because no one department knows everything, has done everything, and knows everything. Every officer that I talk to has a little something to teach me, because whereas we do things a certain way, the PNP does them a different way. Neither way is right, neither way is wrong. But such as something as extracting an officer who is injured, pulling them out of the line of fire. We have the way we do it. I learned from one of the PNP officers the way they do extractions. And that's something I'm going to bring back with me back to my department, because it's a way that, depending on the situation, may be more efficient than the way we did it.
Okay, what is the most impressive thing you've gone through with PET 2016? I mean, I'm sure there are quite a number, and you're still going to be encountering some awesome experiences here, but so
Yes.
far?
The most impressive thing I've seen so far is working with the patrol officers in PNP and their training, because as I'm sure you know, there's, for what we're given and what we're issued in the States, it's more than what the regular rank and file patrol officers are issued in the PNP.
Sure.
And to see what they're able to accomplish with their resources, to see they're doing the same job we are. They're going out on patrol. They're responding to calls for service. They're protecting the public. They're responding to emergencies, trying to keep the public safe and helping everyone that they can. And to see that the heart that they show, even though they may be lacking the equipment, that's what impressed me last year. That's what continues to impress me.
Okay. Now, we're winding up this group. We're going to have 3 segments here. We're going to have 6 other police officers from PET 2016. Just a few seconds, Lieutenant Kema, any statement to the people of the Philippines? And to the United States. We're going to be putting this on YouTube.
Pressure's on. Anyway, Jerry, it's a pleasure being here with you, and even more of a pleasure being back in our homeland, my homeland, and doing the best we can to improve the quality of life, not just for the PNP and the service they provide, but also for the community at large. It's a great program. I invite more people to find out more about us, and if they can assist, we'd be happy to accept any assistance they have, and we'll channel that to the right people.
Okay, Officer Jamie Garon.
Well, I'd like to thank you so much for having us here tonight. Thank you to the PNP for showing us extreme hospitality all throughout our trip and continuous hospitality. My children at home, I'll see you soon.
What are their names?
Nathan and Samantha.
Okay.
Yes. And to Sir Eric, thank you so much for having this program, because without him and the 5 main people who started this program, this would not be possible. And of course, the San Francisco Police Department for allowing me to represent the department.
Okay, thank you for that. Officer Matt Leong.
Okay, Jerry, I'd like to say thank you for having us on. Thank you to the PNP for their hospitality and for the friendship they've shown to us. I'd like to say thanks, or say hello to my family back home in San Francisco, and thank you to the San Francisco Police Department for allowing me the time to come out here and join in this wonderful endeavor.
Okay, thank you very much, Lieutenant Kema, Officer Jamie Garon, and Officer Matt Leong. And by the way, just before before Lieutenant Eric Kema goes, he has been recognized by the Philippine government, and he has received an award from the President himself. So congratulations for that.
Thank you, Jerry.
Okay, so we'll be back with other officers from the PET 2016 right after this. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Open House with Gerry Cornejo, where we feature people, places, and things that are in the news or who should be in the news. And again, if you tuned in earlier, we have with us one of my favorite programs of the year, and that is to feature the officers, the special agents, the ladies and gentlemen that comprise the Philippine Exchange Training Program. And this is the seventh straight year that we've been having them here, ever since 2009. And again, I'd like to give a shout out and thank you very much to my friend Vic Rottenberg. He has retired as of several years ago, but he was with the San Francisco Police Department as a civilian employee. So, welcome, gentlemen, and we have with us Lieutenant Mercado, Special Agent Brad Bautista, and Mr. Bob Nishiyama. So, Lieutenant Mercado,
Magandang hapon po.
magandang hapon po. Okay, so kayo po ay Amerikano na Pilipino.
Pilipino. muna
Pilipino na Amerikano?
po. Pilipino. Purong Pilipino.
Okay, so sir, you are, how did you get to join the PET program?
I was looking for an organization that was serving the community, and simply I found Faleo online,
And FALEO is an acronym for?
Filipino American Law Enforcement Officer Association.
Okay.
And I applied to become a member, and I was accepted as a member. And I spoke with Special Agent Bradley Bautista here,
The president.
the
current
president of Faleo, the
yes.
current president, and I was accepted into the organization.
Okay. Now, but PET 2016, I found out that you were invited by the team leader, Lieutenant Eric Quema.
Correct. We were at a fundraising function in San Francisco called the Pistahan, where I was introduced to Lieutenant Eric Quema, and we talked a lot about the PET program, and it was at that time that I was invited to participate and be a team member.
Okay, sir, tell us what you do for the Turlock Police Department.
I am a lieutenant of the Field Operations Division for the police department. I have management oversight over several units, including the traffic unit, the domestic tactics unit, the community and crime prevention unit. I have had about a 21-year run of experience in law enforcement. I've had a variety of collateral duties and special assignments, from SWAT to canine handler to defensive tactics instructor.
Okay, and what have you, you got into a training program with your local counterparts, the Philippine National Police. What did you get to share with them?
Well, so far, I haven't been able to really actually teach until probably next week. But
okay.
what I did notice about my law enforcement counterparts is that these guys are hardworking, dedicated individuals, and they are truly dedicated to serving their community, and they are working really hard with whatever little they have. And it was heartwarming to be able to speak with them in a one-to-one as a brother, and to learn about the challenges that they face as a police officer in the Philippines.
Tell us about your Filipino roots.
I was born in Sampaloc, Manila.
Okay,
My
Manileño.
mother is
All right.
Bulaqueña.
Uh-huh.
My
Excuse me, your mother is a Bulaqueña.
yeah,
All right.
correct. And my father is born in Pampanga in Laguna.
Okay. Pampanga?
Correct.
Okay, born in Pampanga. So
Correct.
you're a Luzon guy.
Yes.
Much Luzon. And the last time you haven't been here in 38 years.
Correct. I left at about 1977. I was 10 years old and didn't look back for a long time. And what I realized is I lived my life, and I realized that it was time to turn around and give back. And through Faleo and the PET program, that's given me an opportunity to return, the knowledge and pass on the knowledge, but also to collect some knowledge, to learn what law enforcement is like in the Philippines.
Okay, we go to Officer Special Agent Brad Bautista. Now, tell us first about how many times have you been here? I've been seeing you I saw you several times. How many times so far?
Well, Gerry, this is my 6th year with the team.
Okay,
But prior to that, I was stationed here for approximately 3 years
stationed here.
in Clark Air Base.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about your work, DOJ, right? Department of Justice, California.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm currently assigned to the Bureau of Investigations. Some may know of this agency through a TV series in the States called The Mentalist.
Oh, yes, yes.
Actually, this bureau uh, specializes in broad ranges of investigations, from cold case murder to white collar crimes, and now the emphasis is in human trafficking.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about Faleo, of which you're president now. Prior to you, it was our good friend who's also been here several times, Officer Sylvester.
Yes, Sergeant Inspector Glenn Sylvester.
Glenn Sylvester.
Was the past president.
So tell us a little bit about your organization, sir.
Well, Jerry, the Filipino American Law Enforcement Officers Association first was thought of by 8 PhilAMs, Filipino American police officers, mainly in the San Francisco Bay Area. The idea was to get as many of the fellow Filipino Americans in law enforcement together and to be represented, because in the States there are many other outside organizations, such as the Officers of Justice, which is basically comprised of African American police officers, the Jade, I believe it's called the Jade Society, which is also Irish American law enforcement officers in San Francisco, and the Asian Police Officers Association, which comprised of every other ethnicity that's considered Asian, but basically emphasized in the Chinese community. So in 2006, as a result of 3 Filipino Americans that passed away in the line of duty, that accelerated this organization to be established. We got together, organized, and became a non-profit organization and to help promote our Filipino culture and heritage to other law enforcement officers throughout the country, as well as the community our members serve.
Okay. Now, what has impressed you most the 6th time around?
Well, it's always nice to come back to give to our fellow kababayans, officers, because the job is hard. There's not much difference as far as the law enforcement application in both countries. The difference obviously is the equipment we have there as opposed to here. But observing what they have to go through with what little they have, it's always enlightening, and I always want to do more. And I have to thank Lieutenant Kema for initially inviting me on this to the team.
All right. So now we hear from Mr. Bob Nishiyama,
Yes, sir.
Special Agent
Special Agent
of the
Supervisor.
Department of Justice, California.
Correct.
Though you have since retired, but still a very active member of PET. This is your
This is my 5th trip.
5th trip.
Correct.
Okay. No wonder you look very, very familiar. Anyway, Bob, what do you do what do you do now? Do you still work on a...
I still
yes.
I teach at Mendocino College. I teach law enforcement. I do private investigations, and I'm also a consultant for the Mendocino County Sheriff's Office in their evidence section.
Oh, Mendocino.
Yes, that's where
Right.
my task force was, Mendocino County.
Okay. Is marijuana legal in California?
It's getting close.
Okay. What are the 4 states? Colorado, Washington?
Colorado, Washington, Oregon,
Right.
and I can't remember
Not
the
Washington,
4th.
D.C., is it?
No, Washington, the state.
State, yeah. But on the East Coast,
Nothing on the East Coast yet.
right. Okay. And Mendocino, isn't that where they have marijuana plantations?
Unfortunately, I have to admit that we probably have some of the best in the world.
Okay. I believe you. That's the rumor.
Yeah.
Okay. So, sir, what have been your impressions so far? I mean, this is your 5th time here.
Correct.
And I'm sure every time, I mean, you do humanitarian work, you give to charity, you visit your brother officers. How do you participate in the training? What exactly do you teach your counterpart?
I'm fortunate. I've been a law enforcement officer for 38 and a half years. And I worked everything from patrol, SWAT, underwater search and rescue, pretty much everything that's out there. And so consequently, I have that background to give back. I also am fortunate in that I work for the Department of Justice as well as the local police department. And so I have kind of both sides of the fence there in terms of experience in dealing with large-scale operations and small day-to-day operations.
Okay. And sir, could you please tell us what you have on hand there?
Yes, sir. We were in Bataan on the 25th of January in 2015, and it was there that we learned about the tragedy with the SAP 44. And we went through a series of emotions, ultimately sadness as we returned to our country. When I got back to the United States, I found that no one really knew what we were talking about. And so, consequently, we wanted to come up with a way to reach out, one, to help and give something to the people who lost their loved ones, and number two, to commemorate the bravery of the 44 officers who were killed. And so we developed this coin. And on
can
the
you please close up? Can you please show that?
on the front side of the coin is our Phileo logo, and on the back side of the coin is a special artwork. You see there's the SAF 44 logo in one part of the corner. There's a traditional mourning badge of law enforcement with the black band in the other corner. There's a phoenix which rises up out of tragedy. And the goal of this is to say that even in tragedy, we move forward and we learn. It says around the coin itself, always remember training, fellowship, and fraternity. That is, again, from tragedy we learn, and we train, and we work better so this doesn't happen again. We have to remember to fellowship with our fellow officers, with our families, with our friends, because that's the important part of life. And that ultimately, law enforcement is a fraternity. And that no matter where you are, no matter where you go, whoever you work with, we are a fraternity of brothers and sisters in law enforcement.
Okay. Now we go back to you, Lieutenant Mercado, just a few seconds. Any word to the Filipino people, or maybe you want to say hi to your folks in Turlock or in California?
Of course. First and foremost, Gerry, thank you for being such a big advocate of the PET program. This gives us a lot of the exposures that we need, because I know my counterparts here have been doing this for years, and I've been fortunate enough to be invited to be a part of this program. Second, I want to thank my chief, Robert Jackson, for allowing me to participate in this program and represent the Turlock Police Department. And last but not least, my wife, Soya. Hello. I hope you're doing well. She's not with me today. She's actually, she stayed back in California.
There's a wise guy. Tawag dyan, pogi points. No. Okay, go ahead, Special Agent Brad Bautista.
Before I begin, Gerry, let you know, Bob here is also a board of directors of the Filipino American Law Enforcement
Phileo.
Officer. So we're not just comprised of Filipino American, many different nationalities. So just want to start with that. First of all, mabuhay ang Pilipinas. Always love coming back, and I always love giving back as much as we can and as much as Phileo can possibly do to help this country. This is where we all originated from. And also I'd like to thank my wife and my children for allowing me to be here.
Names?
Glenda, Grayson, and Bradley.
Okay, just so we don't get mixed up. Bob.
Again, I'd like to thank the Filipino people who have made this country a wonderful place and who have made me feel welcome here. Even though I'm not Filipino, that I felt Filipino in my heart and Filipino in the people as I communicate. And I truly do appreciate the way they've taken me in. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant Mercado, Special Agent Brad Bautista, and Special Agent Bob Nishiyama. When we come back, we're going to have 3 more officers all from the SFPD this time. I'm Gerry Cornejo, and we'll be back right after this. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Open House with Gerry Cornejo, where we feature people, places, and things that are in the news or who should be in the news. And again, let me repeat, it's this time of year, which makes me very happy because we have some very outstanding guests from overseas who are doing great work for the Filipino people, for our very own PNP. And I think one of the best programs I have during the year is when I feature the PET, the Philippine Exchange Training Program, which we've been doing since 2009, so for the past 7 straight years. And the group is again led by Lieutenant Eric Quema. Now we have with us 3 other officers. And first on my left we have Officer Nicole Gilliam,
Hello, sir.
and we have Special Agent, right? Lawrence
sir.
Lagarejos,
Nice to see you
who's
again,
also
sir.
my Facebook friend,
Yes, sir.
and Officer Ray Padmore of the SFPD. Okay, so ladies first, tell us about your experiences so far in the Philippines. You're the first time in PET.
Yes, my
Right.
first time in the Philippines. I've experienced lots of warm welcoming, politeness, happy faces to see me. It's just been a very enjoyable experience.
Okay, but I guess dealing with Filipinos is nothing new to you because San Francisco, we have many thousands of Filipinos there.
Correct. And I grew up in the Bay Area, which is predominantly a large population of Filipinos,
Especially Daly City.
especially daily cities. Yes, sir.
Okay, so what is your field of specialty, Officer Gilliam?
Currently, I'm at patrol at Northern Station. I work in a patrol car, answer calls, runs for service.
In a patrol car, so you're alone, or you're with a partner, or
Sometimes alone, but I'm mostly with a partner. Yes.
okay. And what are your impressions now regarding the Philippine National Police? I mean, have you trained? Have you gone into any training sessions with them?
Yes, we went to one. My experience with them has been great. Their willingness to learn and to share their experiences and techniques have been awesome.
What in particular?
We have like specialty entries into buildings to extract people, their way of approaching people in their situations with the equipment that they have.
Okay, and let's go first to Special Agent Lawrence Lagarejos,
Yes.
who's this is how many years have you been here?
This is my 7th visit, 7th
Okay.
year with the team, but I've been here to the Philippines before.
Okay, so the first time I met you was the first time you featured the PET
Yes.
7 years ago.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and since then we've been Facebook friends.
Yes. we
Okay, what's your field of specialty again?
Well, most of my career has been with investigations, criminal investigations, targeting gangs and narcotics. Most recently, the last several years, I've been assigned to the Special Investigation Team with the Bureau of Investigations. And as Special Agent Bradley Bautista spoke about, our area of investigation is very broad. It could be anywhere from white collar to cold case homicides, depending on what the problem is, the issue that a county may have or a DA's office may have. We do a lot of DA conflict cases where a district attorney office cannot prosecute an individual because it's a conflict of interest. They will call our office and we will handle the investigation and the subsequent prosecution.
Have you met, who would your counterpart here be? I guess the Department of Justice.
It
or-
would be. And,
Right,
it-
right.
be something to the, I would believe, with MBI.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
All
Your
right.
investigators. Our office, even though it's called California Department of Justice, we work for the Attorney General's office, California Attorney General's office.
Okay, and what have your impressions been regarding your counterpart in the Philippines?
Oh, my counterparts here, again, I have not had any interaction with the MBI, but almost every year my counterparts here from the Philippine National Police have been great. My impressions of them, they're always, again, willing to learn. They're willing to exchange ideas, tactics, and just bond with us, which is really, really important. again, as Lieutenant Kim always says, we're 7,000 miles away, but we share a common bond. And that is true, that we're all in law enforcement, brothers and sisters at arms. So I always look forward to interacting with them, to try to provide them whatever training, recent trends that might help them do their job, especially when their resources are not as quite the same as what we have in the States.
Right. I mean, and well, I think our president has done quite a bit in that area. There was a time that there was a percentage of our personnel, officers, police officers, who didn't even have sidearms. But I think now that has been addressed and good. Now, Officer Ray Padmore, first time we met, I remember we went to Camp Crame and you were teaching, you were forming a bike patrol group. Is that still what you're doing now? Or something different?
Gerry, first of all, thank you very much for having us. We appreciate it. It's always a great opportunity to come and sit on the set with you.
My privilege.
Yes, so we're continuing the training, and every year we strive to make it a little more complex. We have a pretty aggressive, thriving bicycle patrol program within our city. And you know, we're striving for community policing, to get the cops out on the street, to get them back in touch with the community. And bicycle patrol actually allows the officers to do that. So yes, we will be teaching another segment of that, a couple of classes while we're here. One of the other things that I do is I trained first aid and CPR for the American Red Cross and basic life support. So I've had the opportunity to teach a couple segments of that, and stressing the importance of the life you save could be the person sitting next to you. So these are some of the key things in terms of the cardiac chain of survival, the importance of getting every member of your team equipped with the knowledge, the skills, making sure that you have the appropriate equipment, first aid kits and AEDs and the things that are necessary to save lives.
Do you know how many police officers are involved with bike patrol in the Philippines, or at least in Metro Manila?
I don't know the numbers,
okay.
but I would tell you, Gerry, that it's quite obvious that the uptake is great.
Okay.
Because of the long-term impact and the benefit of bicycle patrol and community policing. And I think in a speech by the Director General, he had mentioned the importance of getting back to the community and getting the officers back on the beats and getting them out there and talking to the communities and getting to know the merchants and the citizens and everyone else.
Well, that's what he's been doing.
Yes.
That's from the start of Director General Marquez, Chief PNP. I've been seeing more uniformed police officers on the streets and in crowded areas, and so congratulations on that, Police Director General Marquez, who is also a second cousin. Hi. Okay, so I don't want to be rushing this, but let's do it now. Any message to the Filipino people, to your counterpart, and of course to the people back home?
Of course. I want to thank you, Gerry, for having us. It's
Thank
a
you,
pleasure. My first time here in the Philippines has been great. I want to say hello to my family, my sons, Donald and Donovan, all my coworkers with the SFPD, and all my family and friends.
Okay, and how about to your counterparts in the PNP?
Oh, to the counterparts in the PMP, keep training and keep the spirit.
Okay. Lawrence?
I also would like to thank you, Gerry. It's always a pleasure
Thank
to be
you.
here. I'd also like to say mabuhay to the PMP, to keep up the good work. Their spirits, I think that they're doing great things, great strides. And again, we always look forward to coming and working with them and exchanging ideas. I also would like to thank my wife, who's on her way here, and I'll be picking her up. So
And she is?
Linda.
Okay.
Linda. and I'd also like to say a quick shout out to a good friend of ours in the States, JM, who is not feeling too well. Hopefully, quick recovery. And also to my two apos.
Okay.
Yeah, I missed them, and I'll be home to see them soon.
Okay. Officer Ray Padmore.
Gerry, I would join my compatriots here and say thank you as well for having
Thank you
us.
very much, too.
As I go down the list to the PNP, I have not met more incredibly classy people in all of my life, and I appreciate their hospitality and their kindness every time we're here. And we always look forward to the opportunity to come back and share best practices. Next, I'd like to thank you from the bottom of my heart to our police chief, Chief Greg, sir, who, without him, clearly a lot of the things that happens in our organization and with the PET program would not be possible. The incredible amount of donations that he allows us to bring from computers and the likes, and he has been extremely supportive over the years, and we definitely like to say a special thank you to him. To my incredible wife, Alice, married for 36 years, and someone who's been incredibly supportive in my life, and I wanted to thank her wholeheartedly. Best wishes to my my son and daughter, Chris and Amanda, for their support as well, because when Dad is not there, he's here, inspiring greatness and doing the kinds of things that are required to do things as a group and to make sure that as police officers, we're all safe, and at the end of the day, we can go home. Lastly, I wanted to thank Deputy Chief Lynn Tomioka for her kindness and generosity over the last few years, because without her, it would not have been possible for us to ship the multitudes of masses of things that we ship every year. And once again, every year, she's very supportive in helping us to achieve our goal and bringing the things that we do here to donate.
I'd like to go back to Officer Jamie Gilliam. It's your first time here. What has impressed you the most?
The food. I love to eat.
What in particular? Balut.
Not balut, but the food. I love rice.
You don't like boiled duck embryo?
Not
just
particularly,
kidding. Okay,
but it's a
right.
delicacy. Some
Right.
people love it. You have to acquire taste.
No, not even all Filipinos love it. You
Yeah.
know? I mean, it's yeah.
Exactly. The
That's
food.
how we tease visitors.
Yes.
But so, what foods in particular, by the way?
Adobo, rice, the pancit, everything. The soups,
Sinigang.
sinigang
Yeah.
is my favorite.
You should
the
try
f-
bulalo.
Well, okay, I will try
That's
that.
bone marrow.
Okay.
Remember that, Eric? You go to a Filipino restaurant, you ask for bulalo. It's beef bone marrow.
Okay.
So that's a good one. By the way, do you go to Filipino restaurants in San Francisco? There are a lot of
I
them.
do. Yes, I do.
And if you get invited to a Filipino home, there's a party. You're surely gonna get pancit.
Pancit, lumpia, adobo, everything. Yes.
Okay.
Rice.
So with that, thank you very much, Officer Nicole Gilliam. I hope to
you
see
so
more of you this coming years. And same thing, of course, Lawrence is always going to be here. Officer Ray Padmore is going to be here. We'll, 2 more years, 3 more years, we're going to give you a Filipino citizenship. We'll work on it. Depends on who gets to be president, you know. Depends. We might even have an American president. Just kidding. There's a controversy here about one of the candidates. Anyway, I wish you well. So with that, thank you very much to all of the ladies and gentlemen of the SFPD, of the Department of Justice California, of the Tarlac Police Department, and of course to the team leader, Lieutenant Eric Cornejo. Until next time then, I'm Gerry Cornejo. Thank you for staying with us during the past hour. I love you. God bless you. All right.